It is 11:03 p.m. on Saturday, December 6th, 2025. And this is a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 636, My Own Private Santa Claus. I'm just checking to see if there's any last minute stories who that are going to be interested in this. Nope, so far so good. Nope. So I think I'm going to shut it down right about now. Oh, there we go. One more story. And that will end this week. So let me just put that on here. And that way it'll also give me a sign of when I need to stop when I do my stuff for next week. All right, so we are now fully ensconced in the last month of the year. Still have the beard. We did the my breakfast with Santa Claus occurred today. Was very successful, and that means the beard is going to be coming off here momentarily. I might keep it on tomorrow because the Ravens have been winning until Thursday, Thanksgiving. I had hair growth on my face and not clean shaven. And they were losing when I was clean shaven. So I'm not sure. And Thanksgiving was just an anomaly because just everything was all out of whack because of the holiday. So, whoops, wrong way. There we go. So we got that talked about. I'm going to go a little bit on a rant about Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery, because all I've been seeing is doom and gloom on the social networks, and I'm honestly not too angry about it, and I'll tell you why. And that might be a little lengthy rant, so that's going to go on a little bit. We have a little bit of racial tension between the colors of the year, for obvious reasons when you find out about it. We've got some first looks, some trailers, some end productions, some beginning productions, some crazy stories, Florida people being Florida people. Drunk Raccoon is a new one. So we got that coming up. And its award season has begun. A bunch of award nominations and awards were given out. So I'm going to see if I can try to find all those here. So I'm looking at a pretty much stacked episode today. Starting about 11:06 p.m. A little bit 11:04 p.m. I guess. So we're probably looking at about maybe a 12:30, 1 o'clock ending here because I've got a lot to say today. Well, I stay awake. So let's start off with the obvious. I've been pushing this for the last couple weeks. Today was the Breakfast with Santa that I was tasked to play by Santa Claus himself, Santa, for my Boy Scout troop. And it went off pretty good. There were some bumps in the road to begin with, but we worked them out, and I looked really good in the Santa Claus suit. It's a nice velvety, so it's not kind of a fake sort of one. It's kind of nice. Had issue with the beard. My beard itself didn't quite work. I think I need to start growing it instead of the end of October, beginning of October, and might be a little bit more thicker then. And then I got to actually find an actual dye for this because this is the only white I really have, and there's some scattered on the sides here. I need it to be almost all white. It needs to be fuller and stuff like that because it's got to look like this dude. But I had an issue with the beard that I got with the costume. It didn't quite work properly. And so I had to dig up my old one from when I did it at Hanover, which they're clamoring me for do again this year, but I haven't done Santa Claus at Hanover in about 3 years now. So we'll see, because this costume was really nice, though. But yeah, I pulled out the old beard and it worked fine. Met a really nice young lady named Delilah, who is one of my son's Cubs that he watches over during Cub Scouts. And she thought I was Santa, and she asked me questions, and she gave me stickers, which was very, very nice. She made an ornament for me, which I'm going to hang on my tree, which was very, very sweet as well. One of my bonuses also was one of the things they had an art craft stand, and they had write your letters to Santa. So I got to read the letters that the kids sent me, and a lot of them were really, really nice. And some were just, this is what they want for Christmas, and et cetera and so forth, which is fine. and didn't really have to ask people what they wanted for Christmas. And I really didn't do much. I just sat up there, and people, their kids came up, and we took pictures with each other. I walked around a little bit, talked to some people, went outside and waved at the people outside, tried to get them in. But I think they did pretty good. I think my wife was pretty happy with the numbers. Obviously, we want to do better next year. If we have to wait next year, we should do better. Bonus on it was I convinced my daughter to come home on Friday night, spend the night, and to come to the breakfast on today with us. So I got to see my daughter for a little bit, which was nice. She has some good news also. Her birthday is on Friday. Her exams start this week, so she's already at her last week of college for her first semester, and she thinks that one of her exams is going to be shifted from Monday the 15th to Friday the 12th. So she might actually be done all of her classes on her birthday, which would be really, really good. Early Christmas vacation for her. It'd be great. Regardless if that's the case, we will be seeing her on her birthday. Originally, she was stressing out that she was going to be so stressed out from exams that she didn't want to go out to dinner until she was home for good the next weekend. Then my wife convinced her, we'll come get you on Friday night for your birthday. We'll take you out and we'll celebrate. You can invite your boyfriend with us as well. You go to Cheesecake Factory, where she loves to go. And we'll do your birthday there. So we'll see how that all works out. Excuse me. Again, as always, I got to yawn this show. It is 11:10 p.m. It's past my bedtime. So that was very nice. So it was a very well done event. Thanks to everybody who did come to it, and also who bought some of the coffee stuff that we were selling also. That should start rolling out here in the next week or so. So that was very well done, and I would love to do it again next year. So we did a really, really good job with that. Anything else personal I wanted to talk about? I don't see anything on here right now. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. So this was a weird week. Last Sunday, I guess that was November 30th, I awoke to snow flurries that were laying a little bit. Not a heavy snowfall, but some snow flurries that was laying on my back deck, and they were blown away and melted later that day. But we got our first snow technically on November 30th. Then the weather people were saying, oh, we're going to get a big mess coming on December 2nd, Tuesday. Area's going to get 1 inch of snow to 1 to 2 inches of snow. There's going to be lots of sleet, lots of mixed freezing rain, stuff like that. We got a little sleet, and then it was all rain. And it wasn't even freezing rain. And they're like, oh, well, the temperature was a lot higher than we projected. Well, yeah, maybe you should have thought that into your processes. And then they were saying possibility of some snow coming on Friday as well, meaning yesterday. And December 5th is ubiquitous here in Maryland with snow. Since like the 2010s, it snowed. Even if it's just a flurry or whatever on December 5th, almost every year, with the exception of 3 or 4. But there was a bunch of times where December 5th came along and you were like automatically going to say, yep, we're going to get some snow, when you did. We got some snow. This was a bit more decent. Again, the roads and everything was a little bit warmer, but it was still cold enough that it laid on the grass and it laid on the cars. And it kept snowing. It was supposed to end by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday up here in Reisterstown. It was still snowing when my daughter came back home about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And then my wife actually said she had to get up early this morning to go prep the breakfast with Santa. She said it was snowing this morning about 7 a.m. About 7 a.m. When she went to the church to prep everything. So we had a decent amount of snow. So, but it pretty much all melted because it was warmer today. We are presently looking at Nope. 32 degrees, so we're right at freezing. It's supposed to drop to 28 degrees by 7 a.m. and then go back up to about 41 tomorrow. We do have a little bit of sleety snow in the forecast Thursday, Friday. So we'll see how that all comes out. And it's going to be chilly here. Well, actually, it's going to be warm. We're going to get a bit of a warm up. 41 tomorrow, 32 Monday, 34 Tuesday, 42 Wednesday, 41 Thursday, 38 Friday, 30 next Saturday, 29 next Sunday, 38 next Monday. So, but right now we're at 32 degrees. Potential for the low to go down as far as 28 degrees. So, as I said, a little bit of snow maybe end of the week. So, we'll see what happens. All righty. So, got that all out of my system. Boom. All right. So, what's next? Spaceballs 2 has finished production. So, we will be able to. People were holding their breath, hoping that Mel Brooks was going to survive. I know it sounds terrible, but he's 99 years old making the movie, and we were hoping that he wasn't going to pass away or anything before he finished up his role in the Spaceballs 2. So he did. Everything's all good, and now we have to wait a long time. It's not due out till 2027, which I think is stupid. But I guess I can understand it. I mean, they still got to edit and special effects and stuff like that. And then they probably don't want to drop it in the fall. They'd like to do it during the summer when they get the most money bang for their bucks. I guess I can kind of see it, but it still kind of sucks. I kind of want to see what they got planned for it. So that's good. One thing I am excited for next year on Amazon Prime is Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir live action series. New poster dropped for it, and they have officially said that it will be available in black and white or color, and you can watch it any way you want to. So I will watch it in black and white because that's the way it's meant to be seen. So I cannot wait for that. Men in Black 5 is in the works from the Bad Boys reboot writer-director team, so we'll see how that rolls out. I think Tommy Lee Jones might be a little bit too old, but it might be fun to get Hemsworth and Smith together and see what madness, and get Tessa Thompson in there as well and see what kind of madness you can get in with that. So that should be fun. Speaking of that, where did I just saw it. Where is it? I thought I just saw it. You gotta be fucking shitting me. I literally thought I saw it. My mind is going crazy. So let's move on then. Black Mirror Season 7 is set to debut on Netflix on April 10th. We got our first look at Netflix's miniseries East of Eden with Florence Pugh, set to debut in 2026. No date is officially announced yet. The Night Manager 2, Season 2, which has been like 10 years in the making with Tom Hiddleston, is going to debut on BBC One on January 1st, 2026. Netflix and A24 are developing Broken Toys TV series based on the novel. Don't know what the novel's about, but there it is. Taigo is a new Korean film set in the Extraction universe on Netflix with a cast of Korean stars, including Don Lee, Lee Jin-woo, and Lalisa Manabal. So it'll be in the world of Extraction. Bowen Young and Matt Rogers are set to team up for an untitled new comedy from Searchlight Pictures. So that's pretty good. David Morrissey, who played the governor and was also in one of the Doctor Who Christmas specials, has been cast as Paul McCartney's father in the Beatles 4 films coming soon. A new Paranormal Activity film is in the works from Paramount. There it is. I knew I wasn't going crazy. The 2026 Pantone Color of the Year is Cloud Dancer, which was a very bright white. And that drew a little bit of eye rolling, not eye rolling, but eye raising because of the connotation that white supremacy is permeating, which it is in our country right now, and they picked a white color. So Essence, which is I guess a makeup company or something like that, they turned around and they announced that, where is it? I know it's on this page, I'm pretty sure. Now, Essence picks black Excelsior as a color of the year. So a little bit of back and forth there. So who knows? Color of the year, whatever. Don't know. The Night Agent Season 3 is set to debut on February 19th, 2025. I forget if that's Netflix or Amazon Prime. Peacock nabs a script adaptation of Clue and is turning it into an hour-long TV series, a streaming series, I should say. A Night of Seven Kingdoms, one of the spinoffs of Game of Thrones, gets a new trailer. Let's read that. So Variety has done their next wave of actor on actor interviews, which have brought some really, really good ones over the last couple years. And the list they have set up for this year is interesting. So let's see. Season 23. So they've done this for 23 seasons. That's crazy. Begin rolling out on yesterday. So Friday, Ariana Grande and Adam Sandler. Saturday, December 6th, today, saw Julia Roberts and Sean Penn. Sunday, tomorrow, has the one that everybody's looking forward to, is World's Sexiest Man, Jonathan Bailey, talking with David Cornsweet from Superman, which everybody's looking forward to. Monday, December 8th, Dwayne Johnson and Brendan Fraser, which could be an interesting discussion since Dwayne Johnson was in The Mummy 2 as a Scorpion King and did the spinoff of the Mummy movies. Tuesday, December 9th, has Gwyneth Paltrow and Jacob Elordi, which is another good pairing, which should be interesting. Wednesday, December 10th, you have Cynthia Erivo and Hugh Jackman, which is an outstanding one. Here's one that's got everybody talking. Thursday, December 11th, has the luscious Sydney Sweeney talking with the amazing Ethan Hawke. And I cannot imagine what they would talk about because that's like the most bizarre pairing of the two. And maybe that's the reason why they did it. But I think Ethan Hawke got on here and wanted to discuss like serious stuff with some serious people and doesn't know what he's really going to discuss with Sydney Sweeney. So we'll find out more about that next Thursday. But yeah, I feel for you, man. I mean, it'd be nice to be looking at her all day, but can she keep up a conversation about film and acting and stuff like that? I'm not sure. We'll see. Friday, December 12th, has Stellan Skarsgård talking to his son, Alexander Skarsgård, which should be interesting. Saturday, December 13th. Oh, this is another good one. Michael B. Jordan talking to Jesse Plemons is a good one. Sunday, December 14th, has Kate Hudson and Jeremy Allen White. Monday, December 15th, has Oscar Isaac and Teyana Taylor. December 16th has Colin Farrell and Jessie Buckley. And we wrap up this season with Wednesday, December 17th, Jennifer Lawrence talking to Leonardo DiCaprio. Two of them work together on that Don't Look Up movie. So that's probably what we'll have a lot of discussions on. But yeah, look, it'd be nice. I hope Sydney Sweeney can keep up conversation, but putting her with Ethan Hawke just seemed like a weird idea. I don't know who I'd like to put Ethan Hawke across from, but really would not have picked Sydney Sweeney. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that works out. Maybe we'll be surprised by it. So there we go. But yeah, pretty decent lineup this week. So the big story that isn't too serious was a raccoon broke into an Ashland, Virginia grocery store. Remember, in Virginia, you can have liquor selling at the grocery store, and he went in there and he drank a ton of scotch, broke it open and drank it, and then passed out in their bathroom. So it became a meme and the story of the week, to be honest. So that happened right there. This is weird. A New Jersey bound plane that suddenly plunged thousands of feet is said to have been hit by cosmic rays from another galaxy, and that's what caused the issue. And that just seems really kind of odd, but okay. Here's a funny historical story. George Washington borrowed a book from the New York Society Library in 1789, and he never returned it. In 2010, the head librarian, who just got hired, I think, at that time, made a little joke, wasn't serious about it, said that they will no longer be accruing fees for the book. They just would like it returned to them so they can put it back in their stock. They will not charge George Washington's not family, but his his descendants or whatever. Just if you could just return the book to us, that would be great. And sure enough, the Mount Vernon Society returned the book pretty much the next day after they said that, made that joke. So just imagine that, just how much a fine would have been for not returning a library book from 1789. That's insane, and that's probably right around time right before he died. That's probably why he didn't return it, because he probably died before he could. All right. Here's a good story. Columbia Sportswear, the head guy who runs it, says, if you can prove, solid, cold, hard, solid proof that the world is flat, he will give you Columbia Sportswear, the company. So that's and it's a multi-million-dollar company. So, but that's the thing is that the Earth isn't flat. Makes my head hurt. Now, before I go on my rant here, because I'm gonna probably get it about the bottom half of the hour, it is award season, and I need to look up what was nominated and what wasn't. All right. So first up, the New York Film Critics Circle had their awards. Okay. Now let's go back to here. Okay, so let's see if I can get all this. So the New York Film Critics Circle Awards, this is one of the first ones that was given out. So these are all winners. Best Actress was Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Best Actor was Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. The best film was One Battle After Another. Best Director was Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident. Best Supporting Actress was Amy Madigan for Weapons. Best Screenplay was Ronald Bronstein for Marty Supreme. Best Screenplay, they both won it. So it was for Ronald Bronstein and Josh Safdie co-wrote Marty Supreme, and they both won Best Screenplay. Best Supporting Actor, Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. The Secret Agent was the best foreign language film. K-Pop Demon Hunters, best animated film. Museum of the Moving Image, special award. Screen Slate, special award. Autumn Durald, the cinematographer for Sinners, won best cinematography. And EFIS was named the best first film. And My Undesirable Friends won best nonfiction film. So that's your first set of awards that came out. So there's some interesting things in there that could mean that Amy Madigan might get a supporting actress nomination at the Oscars. But as you said, this was more. This seemed to be more like of a different style one. The National Board of Review. National Board of Review Awards 2025. Okay, so a variety say here. Best film, One Battle After Another. So that's won 2 so far. Best director, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. Best actor, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. Best actress, here's a surprise. Rose Byrne got her second one with If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So she's got 2 wins so far. Best supporting actor, Benicio del Toro. He has 2 wins also. One Battle After Another. Best supporting actress, Inga Ibsdottir Lilius for Sentimental Value. Best directorial debut, Ava Victor for Sorry Baby. Breakthrough performance, Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. Best original screenplay, Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Best adapted screenplay, Clint Bentley and Greg Quadar for Train Dreams. Best animated feature was Arco. What? Best international film, It Was Just an Accident. Best documentary, Cover Up. Outstanding achievement in cinematography, Autumn Durald Arkapaw for Sinners. That's her second, so she might win best cinematography. Outstanding achievement in stunt artistry, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. NBR Freedom, National Board of Review Freedom of Expression Award, Put Your Soul in Your Hand and Walk from Kino Lorber. And the top 10 films of the year, Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Frankenstein, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Rental Family, Sinners, Train Dreams, Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery, and Wicked for Good. Top 5 international films in alphabetical order, Left-Handed Girl, The Love That Remains, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Surat. Top 5 documentaries, 2,000 Meters to Andravika, Come See Me in the Good Light, My Mom Jane, Natchez, and Orwell, 2 + 2 = 5. Top 10 independent films, The Baltimoreans, yes, Bring Her Back, Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, Friendship, Good Boy, ooh, good. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, The Mastermind, Rebuilding, Sorry Baby, and Urchin. So they had a bit more of a Jones for the Paul Thomas Anderson stuff. We have the Gotham Awards. Gotham Awards. All right. Give me the list. Come on. All right. Best feature, One Battle After Another. That's 3 so far. That's 1. Best director, Jafar Panahi. Oh, okay. It Was Just an Accident. Outstanding lead performance, Sope Dirisu for My Father's Shadow. Outstanding supporting performance, Wumi Masaku for Sinners. Breakthrough performer, Abu Sangare for Solomaine's Story. Best documentary feature, My Undesirable Friends Part 1, Last Air in Moscow. Breakthrough director, Akinola Davies Jr. for My Father's Shadow. Best international feature, It Was Just an Accident. Best adapted screenplay, Pillion, written by Harry Leighton. And best original screenplay was It Was Just an Accident from Jafar Panahi. So some interesting things are starting to appear early on, but things always change later on. So we'll see what happens. And finally, I think the AFI just picked their 10 best films of the year. And yeah, that's all it was. Now, so top 10 films and TV shows. All right. Top 10 movies of 2025, according to the AFI: Avatar, Fire and Ash, Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Train Dreams, and Wicked for Good. And they don't actually have the TV ones on here. That's okay, though. They just wanted... See separate posts for TV honorees. Okay, it says we can't open the post, so we're not going to worry about that right now. So, but there you go. So some interesting things come to light with the awards. So we will see what's going on. So we will move on and start getting some ideas for our favorites for the Oscars. There are already some right now, but again, things can change very rapidly over the next few weeks. So moving on. All right. We're just about that time. 30 minutes in. It's time to talk about this. I still have a lot to go through, but we have to talk about this because I just need to. I was going to do my own separate show for this, but I just want to run this through real quick. Netflix has acquired Warner Brothers Discovery for $82.7 billion. After a hard-fought battle with Paramount, Netflix came out on top. As soon as that happened, the internet went absolutely batshit crazy. First up, Paramount is complaining that it was a fix, and they are saying it needs to be revisited and it needs to be redone. And again, it's like saying you picked the wrong person. You need to pick us. So we're going to say it was rigged, and you need to pick us because Paramount is being controlled by the right-wing Nazi fascists in the White House right now. And the fact that WB did not go to them is one good thing about this thing. Two, everybody's freaking out because Netflix doesn't like to do, very rarely releases their movies in movie theaters, and the ones they really, really want to see, their original films, they release them for 1 week and not in any of the big cinemas, and then that's it. So people were screaming out about that because they wanted to see Frankenstein, they wanted to see Wake Up Dead Man in movie theaters, but they couldn't find any because all the big movie chains did not want to air it just for a week, run it for a week. So they're screaming about that. But you know what came out this week also? Jay Kelly. It didn't come out in the movie theaters. Nobody's complaining about that not coming out in movie theaters. It's getting Oscars buzz already, award buzz like that. And that's the whole point. Original films. The reason why they put money to make these original films is so that you have to put your hard-earned money into buying their streaming service. Because they aren't just going to make this movie and put it in movie theaters so everybody can see it. They want you to actually have to buy their streaming service so you can watch this movie. You know who else does this? Apple TV Plus. They haven't released Killers of the Flower Moon. They released it again in movie theaters for about a week, and that was it. They have not released it on any Blu-ray or any other streaming. You can only see it there. The Gorge is another one I like to see from Apple Plus TV. No release there because they're original films. Hulu does it. Paramount does it. Everybody makes original films and keep it on their streaming services, so you actually have to buy the streaming service to watch it. And I'm sorry that you were unable to see Frankenstein or Wake Up Dead Man in the movie theaters. Now, I'm a movie theater guy. I've seen 11 movies in movie theaters this year. So I like movie theaters. I enjoy going to movie theaters. But you're all the reason also why the streamers are as powerful as they are. And it's not entirely your fault. COVID did a lot to do that when they shut down stuff. The streamers were the only things going right now. And then people began to realize that, and I've talked about this a million times, that they did not have to go through the aggravation of going to the movie theaters and paying the abnormal amount of cost for the tickets, for the concessions, to actually get up and drive to your local movie theater. You have to go at an exact same time. If it says we're playing at 1, 4:30, 7, and 10:30, you have to hit one of those times. If you miss any of those times, you're going to miss the movie. You have people around you who treat movie theaters like their home, which I absolutely despise. People on their phones, people talking, people not paying attention. I hate that about movie theaters. So having movies streaming from your home is beneficial because you can watch it whenever it's convenient for you. You already have your snacks, and you can pause it if you need to go to the bathroom. You cannot pause a live movie in the movie theater. You have to go to the bathroom. If you have to go to the bathroom, you either have to hold it or you're going to miss a portion of the film. That's just the way it works. And to get away, and then that way you can talk and text and everything to the heart's desire at home, so you're not bothering other people. You wanted this. Secondly, as I said, Paramount is run by right-wing fascist pedo lovers, and they were trying to consolidate their power even more by getting the WB, and that didn't happen. So you got to like that as well. they're screaming, well, they don't do, they don't do any physical, like there's no video, no DVDs or Blu-rays that we can buy. Yeah, no kidding. Again, that's where the original film comes in handy. Do you know how long it took for Hulu to release the Predator movie? Not the Badlands, the Prey, that Predator movie. I wanted to see it. I was dying to see it. I heard how good it was. It took them 2 years after it came out to finally release a bare bones Blu-ray, which I bought because I wanted to watch it. And I watched it during my 4th of July vacation, staycation, where I watched movies all the time. Again, I don't think they've released anything, but Apple TV Plus has not released really anything. They have a Severance and Ted Lasso. Some of their TV shows, they release stuff on Blu-ray and stuff like that. And I think Netflix has released Blu-rays for some of their more popular things before. But, Disney Plus doesn't release their originals all that often. They've done some of them. They've done some of the Mandalorians and some of the Marvel stuff, but they don't do all of them because, again, it's exclusive. That's what they want. They don't care about any of this other stuff. They just want you to buy their streaming service. So that's why they make this. Adam Sandler for Netflix, he saw that streaming was the future. He said, I'm going to throw my hat in with the streamers. He said, I will let you have, first go of all my films if you back them. So Netflix says, yes, we will. So that Netflix pays for all of Adam Sandler's movies. None of them have been released in movie theaters. Happy Gilmore 2, which would have made bank, was not released in movie theaters. And Adam Sandler doesn't come out and say, well, they should be released in movie theaters. No, he knows. He's like, this is where it's at. And he's making his money, and it's making history because all of his movies, when they debut, no matter how bad they are, how good they are, the ratings are humongous. Yes, they can make more money. And I think you're more angry that you were not allowed to see K-pop Demon Hunters in the movie theaters. They released it in movie theaters twice. And you just never got around to getting in there. Either it was sold out or whatever. It's like, well, they should have it all the time so I could go when it was convenient for me. It's convenient for you to watch it on your TV. Yes, you want to go see it in the movie theater, but you know what? You can't always get what you want. It's exclusive to that streamer. So now everybody's thinking that them buying the WB is now going to be that they're not going to release any Warner Brothers movies in movie theaters. Netflix has come out and says, yeah, that's not going to happen. We're going to release Warner Brothers movies in movie theaters. But, and here's where they're changing things up. We're going to shorten the window that the movies are out in movie theaters, which, to be honest, is where it's at. All the people who want to see these movies see it within the first 2 weeks, because if you see how the numbers dip from the box office dips after week 3. So instead of it being a 30-day window, they're going to shorten it. I don't think they're going to shorten it to like 14-day window. They'll probably shorten it to like a 20 to 25-day window. It's only going to be reduced by 5 to 10 days. Which, let's look at this also. If you don't have that movie clogging up your movie slots, because as I said, the first 2 to 3 weeks is when everybody who wants to see the movie are going to come out and go see the movie, particularly the first weekend. First weekend, because everybody spoils everything now. They want to see the movie before everybody else so they can spoil it for them and feel superior, or see it before it gets spoiled so they can say, yeah, or discuss it. So they'll see it the first weekend. They'll work it out so they can see it the first weekend. If for whatever reason they can't work it out the first weekend, it's still playing the second weekend. So they'll play it in the second weekend. And if for whatever reason they can't do the second weekend, they still might give you a third weekend. But after that, it's like, okay, we gave you 3 weekends. If you cannot do it, it's going to be on streaming in about a month. Just wait and you'll be able to watch it then. It's fine. Get our streamer. That way, it'll open up more slots for other movies to be released in movie theaters or be out in movie theaters longer also. Maybe some of the independent, and it's not necessarily has to be WB or Netflix. Maybe some of these independent morons who only got about a week's work in the movie theater. Now that there's not this batch of movies clogging up stuff because nobody's going to them, hey, and people are still coming in periodically for Baltimoreans. Let's put it in for another week in the slots that this one is taking out there. I think that's a win-win, actually, to shorten the window. Now, what else was people talking about? So, what else is getting people angry about that? They're also, they're saying it's going to destroy the movie theater experience. Movie theater numbers are down. And yes, as I told you, I am a movie theater lover. I love to go to movie theaters. I don't want the movie theaters shut down. I want the movie theaters to keep going. I like the movie theater experience, but for a lot of my time, I can't go to the movie theaters all the time because I have family obligations. I have work obligations. And sometimes I just don't feel like getting up and driving to the movie theater and paying all this stuff and watching the movie and watching all these trailers, watching all these advertisements, having to hold my piss and poop so I don't miss anything. And then, get up and then have to drive back home. I don't have the time to kill on this. I as I said, I would love to, but I just don't have the time to do it. So that helps a little bit also. And I forgot where I was going with that because I'm old and I'm going off on tangents here. But yeah, so here's the thing. Movie theater box office is down. All these movies you claim you want to see in movie theaters, they've come out in movie theaters and they're not making any money. They're not lingering around. Yes, the Frankensteins and the Wake Up Dead Mans, which are movies you want to see, only had these limited releases in, only like 30 theaters, something like that. That sucks. Yes, it does. And I think they need to change that. Absolutely. But again, as I explained already, those are exclusive films. These filmmakers going in knew full well that Netflix was backing their production and giving them the money to do what they wanted to do, make the movie they wanted to make without any real hands-on bullshit, as long as you let it just stay on Netflix. And yes, that pisses off the cinemaphiles like that, who are some of the biggest crybaby whiners I've ever met. I like to see myself as a neo-cinephile because I like movies, but I'm not as, I'm not very smart about them. I don't think that, talk to it like I'm an art student. It is art, and I appreciate that, but it's not the end of the world if you don't see the movie in the movie theater, and the movie theater experience is not going anywhere. As I said, Warner Brothers movies are not going to not come out in movie theaters. Netflix already come out and said, we're just going to lessen the windows that it's out, which is fine. You're coming up with all this stuff that they're going to do. They're going to ruin this. They're not going to do, physical copies or whatever. You don't know. They literally just bought it on Thursday. They're still working out the minutia. And now the Writers Guild and the Directors Guilds, all that are saying you cannot do this. I don't know what that's all about, because if it's about monopolizing stuff, why they allowed Disney to buy 20th Century Fox or Paramount to buy Skybound? Where were the complaints then? I don't know. And again, as I said, maybe they will change up their ideas for what they're releasing. But again, if they're making a Netflix exclusive film, they're not going to release it in movie theaters for a 30-day, 20-day window. They're going to release it for a week, and then you have to go and you have to see it on your channel. As I said, Apple TV Plus does that. Hulu does that. They allow only if you're a specific movie you want to see that it's original in them, you have to watch it on their streaming service. That's it. That was all done because COVID. Everybody stayed home. They built up how it was. They didn't go to movie theaters, which is fine. They weren't supposed to. It was not safe, and you don't want anyone to get died or whatever. But you cannot complain about stuff when people realize it's a small handful of people who are complaining about this. The majority of people like to stay at home and watch the movies. They think it's a great idea for a streaming service to have that because of the aforementioned stuff that they have to worry about and complain about, and the pricing and all that stuff as well. It's not going to get rid of the cinema theater. The IMAX stuff, that is something that you have to talk to the other film companies about, and the movie theaters that have IMAX. Yes, films are only going to be in an IMAX window for a couple of weeks, and then they have to leave because other movies are contractually obligated to be in those IMAX ones. And it's not all Warner Brothers, it's other ones as well. And there's other movies that are going to be coming out also. Oh, we wanted Universal to buy it. Well, sure, they just didn't have the money. Warner Brothers didn't like their offer, but we could have gotten DC World and Universal. That's why I really wanted it. See, you don't really want it. You didn't care about the movies. You just wanted a new world to go to that you've already been to Marvel World and Star Wars World and all this stuff. You want to go to a new one. So it's like they can make DC World then. It gives me a reason to go back down there again. Just stop. You don't know what's going to happen. You're going by what you've seen before. And again, I cannot reiterate either. They're exclusive films that production companies, Netflix are producing it. They come to directors. The directors say, I want to make this movie. And Netflix, fine, we'll give you this much money for it. We'll let you have final cut, whatever, but it has to be on Netflix. And so all these people who are whining, they're not letting us watch, release it more in detail. Like, I love Rian Johnson. I love the Knives Out movies, but complaining about not being in movie theaters, you knew it the minute you signed on with Netflix, they weren't going to do that. So if next time you want to do a Knives Out movie, sign with Paramount, sign with Universal, so that if you are that concerned about it not getting a proper window in movie theaters, sign with somebody else, make the movie somebody else. But I guarantee you're not going to be getting the same stipulations that Netflix will. Netflix is giving you this freedom to do what you want to do, and all you have to do is keep it on their streamer. And they will try to open it up for a week or two. And as I said, they need to do a better job of getting more theaters involved with that. I'm all for a week-long excursion of the film, but releasing in thousands of theaters just for that 1 week and then taking it out. That's what they do with these reissue movies. Like Back to the Future just came out for a weekend. I want to see it in the movie theaters again, but I couldn't because that was Halloween weekend. I had stuff going on and I just didn't have time to do it. And it was gone after 3 days. Yes, it was re-released, but this is a similar sort of feel to it. It's a Netflix exclusive. It's an Apple TV exclusive. They're not going to release it in theaters any longer than a week because they want people to come to their streamers and get their stuff. I don't know how many times I have to hammer it into your stupid heads. That's the whole reason for it. Should it be changed? I don't know. I don't care. I'm fine with not watching it in the movie theaters, but you obviously don't love the movie theater experience. I told you I've been to 11 movies. If I could, I would go to the movies every fucking week. Let me tell you a story. When I worked, before I was married, before I had a lot of these obligations I have now, before I had kids, I was living at home in 1998, I believe, 97, 98, somewhere in that window. Not actually 96 to like 99 was sort of that window in my life where I really got into movie theaters because they had a movie theater. I did not have a car until September of 99, so I had to take the bus. I was living at home after graduating from college. I was working at a bagel shop. My bagel shop hours were 3:30 in the morning to, on a good day, 10:30 a.m. On the weekends, I had to work maybe a little later than that because the weekends are obviously busier. But during the week, I worked till about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I was done. So I had my whole day for you. What time do movies start? About 1 o'clock, maybe sometimes 12:30 if you're lucky. So every Friday, which is always a slow day because everybody was prepping for the weekend, and that was when our busiest time was, I would work till 10:30. It was a full 7-hour shift I had. And I would see what movies were out at Towson Commons, which was the name of the movie theater I went to, which I could access via my bus. Jumped on the bus and went to Towson Commons. I saw 51 movies in a year at the movie theater. That's almost one a week. Now, I didn't go every week because there wasn't movies I wanted to see every week. Sometimes I doubled up movies. Like there might be 2 or 3 movies I wanted to see that came out in one on that Friday. So I would double it up. I would usually watch 2 movies. I don't think I ever watched 3, but I would watch 2. But I watched 51 and 52, and it was so hard not to push myself in the cold of December when it was snowy, icy like that, and get yourself a movie. I didn't feel like it. It was Christmas, the holidays. I didn't really feel like going for it, so I missed 52. I watch movies in movie theaters all the time. As I said, this is the most movies I've seen in a movie theater in a long time. 11 movies in the movie theater, and I don't think there's a lot of movies I do want to see in the movies theater. But again, I have obligations, and I can't just go off to the movies and watch it whenever I want to. Um, because as I said, I have obligations, I have things I have to do. I'm looking at next year's schedule. There's a lot of movies I want to see then also, but you know what? I'm not going to see them all in the movie theaters. And so what I do is I wait till it comes out on physical media and I buy it on physical media. I don't even really watch stuff on the streamers. I watch a lot of the original stuff on the streamers, the TV shows and some of the original movies like that. I still haven't seen Frankenstein yet. I've heard it's really, really good. I am going to see Wake Up Dead Man because my wife and daughter love the Knives Out series. And it comes out on my daughter's birthday, so we're going to go see that. We'll see that on our TV screen. And honestly, I think my wife wouldn't want to go to the movie theaters to see it. My daughter maybe, because she's just like me. She's kind of a movie up and coming neo cinephile. Her and her friends watch movies almost every day at college when they can. So I'm glad I gave that to her, and we try to watch movies whenever she's home. So, to reiterate again, yes, I would like them to release some stuff on physical media. They're not going to, though, because it's exclusive. That's what I need to keep hammering in your head. Streamer exclusives are not going to get the bells and whistles that you want because it's a streamer exclusive. It's an incentive to go and get their streaming service. And Netflix is not the only one that does it. Disney does it. Apple Plus does it. I'm sure Hulu does it. I'm sure Peacock does it. I'm sure Paramount does it. All of them do it. And Warner Brothers, they're not going to make Warner Brothers be not in movie theaters. They're not going to get rid of the James Gunn universe. And Chris Nolan, he can bitch and moan all he wants to. Odyssey is going to get plenty of play, don't you worry. But you're coming out in July, in the summer, mid-July, with Spider-Man right behind you. And I love your stuff, Christopher Nolan, I do. But it's not for everybody. If you look at the makeup of the country, and the reason why we're kind of in the shithole we are now is because the majority of people in this country are not cinephiles. They don't give a rat's ass. That's why you see so many remakes and so many sequels and so many specific genre shows and movies and stuff like that, because that is what makes the money. Let's take a look at what Zootopia is doing. They made close to $700 million worldwide, and about 500, maybe that's 300, 400 of that in the United States alone. That's a sequel to a kids movie. And cinephiles, are like saying, it's made more money. Yes, and then you have your auteurs like your Coppolas and your Scorsese's complaining that their movies aren't making any money because they want to go see the next Superman movie. Again, I've had this discussion before. I'm not going to get into it anymore. But again, your movies might not be interesting to everybody. Cinephiles will eat it up and they'll talk about it, but there's only a small fraction of them in this country. They do not have enough clout to spread the word. You can make a case for Sinners, but the thing with Sinners was it was a distinctly African-American experience. And when the African-American people, I hope I'm not sounding racist here, discover something that is culturally for them and is making a big deal, they will come out in droves and they will see it. Hence what happened with Sinners, making a shit ton of money, and we'll get a shit ton of Oscar nominations. And apparently, as of this moment right now, it's got one pretty much in the bag right now. Dead cert, they're going to win Best Cinematography probably. Another dead cert is probably they're going to win Best Original Screenplay too, because I honestly can't think of anything else that could go up against it, except for maybe that stupid Paul Thomas Anderson movie, but I don't know. And I can't say it's stupid because I haven't seen it. But the thing is, I have no desire to see it. But all you cinephiles out there are like, oh, you got to see it. It's the greatest movie of all time. I highly doubt it. And again, I've had this discussion too. Reviews, stuff like that is subjective. Movie reviews, any reviews, anything, piss me off because it's one person's opinion. They might not like this, this, and this, but there are people out there who do like this, this, and this. So because you think this is a piece of shit, they might think this is actually pretty decent. And I think there was an author I follow who does reels. He talked about that aspect as well. So, in conclusion, since I've gone on a rant for 24 minutes now and I still got a lot more to do, in conclusion, chill the fuck out. First of all, Paramount, which is as I said before, a fascist right wing way to try to continue to consolidate their power via their monopolies. They lost, and now they're bitching and whining like the little bitch Republican MAGAs that they are about, oh, it's unfair. I'm still not quite sure why the Writers Guild, the Directors Guild, and the Actors Guild are pissed off about this. I'm still kind of in the dark about that. So that might be a window where I might have to do a little bit more research on that. But to me, it seems like that's, it just means you don't work with Warner Brothers. You don't work with Netflix. If you don't like that stuff, you can still work with Universal and work for the right wing, pedo loving Paramount. Or there's so many. Look, A24 is becoming big. Neon is becoming big. There's a new one of these boutique publisher companies coming out, distributor companies coming out next year. They're still out there as well. You just want to make the big money, because if it was up to you, you're angry about this stuff. Well, then go find a job, go find a movie that A24 does or Neon does, something like that. But it's not going to make you a ton of money, because their budgets are going to be small, because they are small boutique ones. You have to sometimes take the poison pill and do the movies for the companies that piss you off for whatever reason. But let me do more research on that, why the WGA and the DGA and stuff like that. And they're all like, oh, Christopher Nolan's going to save us. I still don't get that. You don't go to the movie theaters. It's only a small handful of you that are complaining about the movie theater experience. Not everybody has the ability to go to the movies every fucking day. All right. And movie theaters are not dying. They're going to stick around. Is there some stuff that can be worked on? Sure. But again, exclusives. That's the big fucking word that you have to remember. Exclusives. And the Netflix is paying for these movies so that they air exclusively on them. Apple TV is paying for these movies to show up exclusively on their channel. It might be nice to make some money outside there, but they want people to come to the streamer. If they see it in the movie theater, they're not going to want to watch it again on a stream. They're going to say, I've already seen that. I don't need to get Apple TV, or I don't need to go to Netflix and get that one. No. But now they're like, oh shit, I have to get Netflix, or I have to get Apple TV because I want to see this movie. Exclusives. That is the big word right there. Movie theaters are not dying. Physical media. You don't buy physical media anyway. There's only, again, a handful of people that get physical media. I buy physical media. If you have any doubt how big of a movie guy I am, you can talk to my wife. My wife is pissed at me that you can't see it right now, but there is a shelf back there full of videos, DVDs rather. There's a shelf back there filled with DVDs. There's a shelf back there filled with CDs and videotapes. Then you go upstairs, which is where the bulk of my collection is. I've got two massive furniture-looking drawers that open out that store about 100 each in there. I've got two racks. Yeah, two racks that I built personally that holds another 40 or 50 movies. And I have piles of movies on top of one of my furniture things. We're storing my other ones. I need to buy some more, things like that. I have a ton of movies. My Amazon list, my Christmas wish list is all Blu-rays and movies, because I'm a collector. I love them. I love physical media. But you know what? I understand. I'm also smart enough to understand that you're not going to get everything. And yes, it pissed me off that it took 2 years to get Prey, and I finally got to see it. So right now on my list, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. It keeps going. 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. I'm going to stop here soon. 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 76. And that seems to be the end there. 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. See if I can get to 100 here. I'm not going to. I'm going to stop here. But I have 89. It's starting to lessen out now. But I have 89, 90, 91, 91 Blu-rays as I'm 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Let's go to 100. 97, 98, 99, 100, 101. I have over 100 Blu-rays, and I'm not at videos, 102, 103, 104. Not even done. I still have a whole bunch of lists to go. I have 104 on my Amazon wish list right now. I'm a physical media person, but because everything doesn't have to be on physical media, I would love for it to be on physical media, but I have Netflix, so I can watch the Netflix originals when I want to, whenever I want to. I'm pissed I can't see The Gorge because I really want to see The Gorge. I'm pissed I haven't been able to see Flowers of the Killing of the Flower Moon, which I really want to see also. And some more upcoming films that are going to be on Apple TV Plus and Hulu and all of that. I don't want to get those streamers. I'm buying the streamers that I want. They're expensive. Netflix is one that I like, and I am glad this is happening. Also, another thing on here is that they bought HBO and they bought WB, all that stuff. It doesn't mean they're going to integrate into that. They'll probably have HBO still be its own streaming service, and they might even do the WB be their own streaming service. They're just going to be in control of it, and it's going to be more revenue funneling for them so they can make more movies. You know, Guillermo del Toro, I don't know if he's actually bitched about it, but he's made 2 movies with Netflix, and both of them were released for about a week in movie theaters, and he seems to be fine because he still wants to make movies with them. But he's not coming out and saying you need to release them out in theaters longer than that. Rian Johnson has, but then that's okay. But again, you have to realize Netflix is footing the bill for all this. They get to decide what's going on. And that's why the artists want them, because they give them a ton of leeway. And I really got to stop now because I've been going on. That's why I probably should have done my own show about this. But guys, just chill the fuck out. Fascism and the Nazi MAGA party lost again. There is no guarantee. This is all stuff that you're just coming up with your mind. The movie theater experience is not going to go downhill. It'll be lessened, but let's face facts. Do you actually wait the 30 days after movies come out to go see it in the movie theater? If you have stuff that comes up, then yeah, I can see that. But it's not going to be for long. It's going to be on streaming. If you really, really want to see it in the movie theater, you will make time some way or another to do it. If you're just busy all the time, whatever, you can set aside a time saying, you know what, I have a schedule, but I have a little bit of window here where I might usually, look at my phone, or I might do this and that. Let me just slot in 2 hours, 3 hours to watch this movie in the movie theater. If you really want to watch a movie in the movie theater, you will make sure you do it. They're not going to automatically say, we're not going to do this. They were never going to keep releasing their exclusives out in movie theaters for longer than a week at a time. And that's, my issue I have with that is they need to probably do it a week at a time and maybe get seen real quick in more of the AMCs and stuff like that. It needs to be seen in more theaters than just a handful of them. But I understand why they only put it in a handful of them, because they're fucking exclusives. Get that through your fucking head. They're exclusives. That's why they're not releasing it more in theaters. They want your dumbasses to come in and buy their streaming services so you can watch these movies. They're not going to kowtow to you as like, oh, I'm going to put in the movie theater for 30 days and then put it on Netflix, because then nobody's going to get Netflix because we already saw in the movie theater. And we'll buy a physical we'll buy the physical version of it when it comes out on Blu-ray, and we can watch it on our own accord. We don't need fucking Netflix anymore. Okay. 35 minutes rant is over. I apologize. Not really, but I have to get it through your thick skulls. This is not a bad thing. And it is only 2 days old right now. They're still discussing all the legalities and stuff like that. And you cannot complain about this and not be complaining about what Paramount did with Skybound and what Disney did with Fox. Okay. If it's only because you hate Netflix, which a lot of people you hate on Disney, so you automatically hate everything they do, is it because you hate on Netflix also because, oh, they didn't release Frankenstein in longer in more theaters or for longer than a week? Exclusives! I'm done. Anniversaries. Krampus. Krampusnacht was yesterday, December 5th. The movie version of it came out 10 years ago at this time last year. I talked about that on my list show about the top 10 movies of 2015. That's what it was. Falcon Crest, the TV show from the 80s, debuted 44 years ago this week. Silent Night, the British film about a killer fog that's going to kill everybody on Christmas. Yes, it's a real movie. Came out 4 years ago. And it's also the anniversary of the first time where the Bermuda Triangle exploded when a number of fighter jets disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle that set off the what's the word I'm looking for? The story of the Bermuda Triangle, the urban legend of the Bermuda Triangle. That was 80 years ago. That's the only reason why I really mentioned it, because 80 years ago is when the myth of the Bermuda Triangle came to fruition. So, deaths this week. He's on right now. Character actor, Cary Hiroyuki Takawa. You've seen him before. He is one of the best Asian character actors of our time, action films, the works. All right, here we go. Okay, so his films. Here's the films he was in. Big Trouble in Little China, The Last Emperor, Twins, License to Kill, Kickboxer 2, Showdown in Little Tokyo, The Perfect Weapon, American Me, Rising Sun, Mortal Kombat, The Phantom, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Vampires, Snow Falling on Cedars, Pearl Harbor, Planet of the Apes, the Tim Burton version, Elektra, Memoirs of a Geisha, Hachi, A Dog's Tale, Tekken, The Tomb, 47 Ronin, Tekken 2, The Man with the Iron Fist 2, Kubo and the Two Strings, and the last movie he did was Sky Sharks. So he did a bunch of that. TV, he did a whole bunch of stuff. Did MacGyver, Star Trek Next Generation, 2 episodes of Miami Vice, was in Superboy, Knots Landing, Moonlighting, Alien Nation, Mission Impossible, Jake and the Fat Man, Baywatch, Space Rangers. He was in 6 episodes, Babylon 5, Sybil, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Nash Bridges, Stargate SG-1, Poltergeist The Legacy, Walker, Texas Ranger, Baywatch, Hawaiian Wedding, Hawaii, Teen Titans, Trouble in Tokyo, Heroes. He was in the TV show Heroes. He was in the new version of Hawaii Five-0. He was in the new version of Teen Wolf. He was in The Librarians. He was in the main cast of The Man in the High Castle, which makes sense because it's an alternate world where the Axis won the World War II. Voice on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Star Wars Rebels. The Netflix version of Lost in Space. He was in 5 episodes of that. Did a voice on DuckTales. Did a voice on Star Wars Visions, and did a voice on Blue Eye Samurai. So Cary Hiroyuki Takawa passed away this week. You would recognize him if you saw him. I have no doubt about that. Okay. Drew Starkey and Kaylee Spanning are replacing Austin Butler and Saoirse Ronan in Deep Cuts. The film took a little bit longer to get ready, and so Austin Butler and Saoirse Ronan had other obligations they had to get to, so they had to drop out. Scarlett Johansson has been cast in Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson. Rumors are abounding now. The most popular one now, she's going to play Andrea Beaumont from The Mask of the Phantasm, the live-action version of that, or she'll be playing Poison Ivy. Those are two roles that people are talking. We'll find out more in a few years. South Park and Fortnite are having collab, but it's not just going to be a typical sort of collab. There'll be skins, riff anomalies, a boss, a mythic, respawn abilities, all kinds of fun stuff. So South Park's going to go all in on that. Thailand declares cats are a national symbol. That's outstanding because I have one upstairs who's got the Christmas tree up today. He's getting into it already. Keke Palmer is starring in a Peacock remake of The Burbs. We got our first trailer for that due out on February 8th. The Burbs is a Joe Dante film that starred Tom Hanks and Corey Feldman. And I didn't know they were making a remake of it, but apparently they are. That's only available on Peacock. Guess what? If it's a movie, you're not going to be able to see it in movie theaters. You'll have to go exclusively to see it at Peacock. And you know what? It probably won't be released on physical media either. Hey, guess what? Peacock can do the goddamn same thing that you're complaining about that Netflix is doing. So, all right, just had to make my point there. The doctor who gave Matthew Perry the ketamine that killed him was been sent to federal prison for 30 years. Good on that. Vin Diesel to write, produce, and star in Rock'em Sock'em Robots. So don't know if it's going to be live action, which would be weird, or if it would be a cartoon. Zootopia 2 has, when I wrote this, it had passed 600. It's already passed 700 million now over the worldwide box office. We had our first look at Sleepwalker, a horror film with Hayden Panettiere, due out January 9th, 2026. We're starting to get a lot more of what movies we're going to be getting in January. And as typical, there's nothing really majorly outstanding coming out their way. The city of Detroit has erected a statue of RoboCop because the movie is set in Detroit, New Detroit, actually. And RoboCop is such a fantastic skin or costume or whatever you want to call it that it makes sense to have it as a statue. I'd go for that. Leonardo DiCaprio has confirmed that he is in Heat 2. So that's when we've actually got officially in there. Franco, who's a great comic book artist, did the Teen Titans Go. No, it was Teen Titans, something like that. Is writing a new Speed Racer comics for kids, so that's pretty cool. Huntrix from K-pop Demon Hunters will be performing at the New York Rockin' Eve, Dick Clark's New York Rockin' Eve this year. So they will be doing a live performance there on New Year's Eve. Leanne Best, James Morton, Harry Lloyd, Bobby Schofield, Daniel Heflin, Gill, Arthur Davrill, and Adam Paley have been also cast in the Beatles film along with Moriarty, which I talked about already. It is now due to come out April 28th. I guess the first one will be out April of 2028 because he's got to make 4 movies basically and then add them all up and then figure out the release dates for them. So they have not started filming yet, but the cast is growing by the minute, and that's good. I still don't get the appeal of Dubai-inspired chocolate. It's just like pistachio stuff added to chocolate, but it is a big fucking deal now, and it's so big of a fucking deal that Hershey, our last remaining American chocolate, is now doing a Dubai-inspired chocolate from Hershey. A little late to the game, but you know what? Honestly, I'm not going to buy it because it does not seem enticing to me. And when you look at any of the Dubai chocolate, it looks like there's like it's like chunks of pistachio in it or whatever. Not for me. Speaking of K-pop Demon Hunters, they are going to be having Vans shoes here coming out very soon. We finally have a debut window for Euphoria Season 3. It's set to debut in April 2026. Going to be set with 8 episodes, and there will be time jumps galore because of the age of the actors. Man vs. Baby, Rowan Atkinson's new Netflix show. We got our first trailer for that due out on December 11th. The creators of the Paddington movies are working on Mr. Man and Little Misses, which is I've looked at it before. It's like some sort of cartoon sort of thing that I've seen before, but never really thought much about it. But it must be a big thing over in Britain, much like how Paddington is. So that'll be good for them. NBC is developing a drama about Washington, D.C.'s youngest and first Black chief medical examiner called Truth. New live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie is set to debut November 17th, 2028. It is taking the place of The Last Ronin, which is pissing off a lot of fans. And hey, guess what? Paramount is doing that. And also, real quick, to go back on my rant real quick, y'all are hating on Warner Bros. So I don't know why you're complaining that it was bought by Netflix. So they'll be able to fix that Warner Brothers had with the shelving of Batgirl and versus Acme. Just got lucky that Ketchup picked up Coyote versus Acme, and I wish they would release Batgirl, but it's not going to happen. But you all are hating on WB, and now you're like, oh, we can't have this happen. Cynthia Erivo is busy. She is set to do a one-woman show of Dracula in the East End in 2026. She will be doing every character, including, Count Dracula. Excuse me again. This has an intriguing idea based apparently on a true story, but they're going to try to morph it into more of a horror film instead of a biopic, true life sort of story. Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton is set to play Sammy Davis Jr. in a movie called Dance with the Devil. But it's just going to focus on a portion of Sammy Davis's life where he apparently was a part of the Church of Satan. Now, if you know anything about the Church of Satan, it's not a awful church, actually. It gets a very bad rap, and they actually are really, their religious beliefs are more along the lines of what Christians should be. Christian nationalists claim to be, but aren't. The Church of Satan is the ones that are actually doing God's work instead of the Christian nationalists. Look it up. If you don't believe me, look it up. But they're going to try to skew that into a horror film, which would be interesting. So it's kind of interesting that we're doing that because we're going to get kind of an unofficial sort of Sammy Davis universe, because Sydney Sweeney's doing that one movie where she's playing that actress who was married to Sammy Davis Jr. or had an affair with her and something like that. And that's due out probably next year as well. So coming out around the same time as this. So that's an intriguing idea. So we'll stick up with that. No anniversaries on this page, surprisingly, but deaths. Last week we had a lot of deaths of, influencers, stuff like that. We have another one this week in reality people. We have another this week. Priscilla Anderson, reality show star from Cowboy Chaperone or something like that. It's a romance thing. Died at the age of 45 of cancer. So it wasn't like she was murdered or anything like that. She died of cancer, which is awful. Also, she was Chrisella Anderson was 45. Danielle Jones, a reality show star from So You Think You Can Dance, also died from cancer at the age of 46. So that's kind of weird that these two reality show stars both died from cancer, who were both about a year in between each other in your ages. Charles Shea, a D-Day veteran who saved lives on the Omaha beach while taking heavy fire, died at the age of 101 this week. Steve Cropper, Booker T and the MGs, Green Onions, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, the Blues Brothers Soul Man, guitarist, was in the Blues Brothers movie. Also gets a shout out in a version of Soul Man that Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi sing, and Cropper was a part of. He passed away this week as well. Green Onions is probably his most famous song, and it's a great one. And Steve Cropper is a tough one. He passed away this week. So we're done. Page 1. Excuse me. New Zealand man arrested for swallowing $19,000 Fabergé egg. How the fuck do you swallow a Fabergé egg? And why the fuck would you swallow a $19,000 one? That makes sense. So with the announcement that Scarlett Johansson is going to be in Batman 2, another announcement came out that Zoe Kravitz will not be in Batman 2 as Catwoman. Everybody's like, oh, why not? What's going on? Maybe Catwoman doesn't feature into the script. Maybe there was no reason to bring her in because she plays no part in the storyline. Maybe it's only best to bring her in when she's actually part of a major storyline. Get with it, people. Come on. It's not like she's saying, I'm never going to play Catwoman again. If they do a Batman 3, it might focus on Catwoman. Or they might bring her in for something. She might give her a story arc. As I said, because Netflix is all over the place, and they're working with Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese has decided he wants to do an 8-part miniseries based in Vegas. So he did it with Casino, so it's going to just be like a version of Casino, but it's going to be spread out over 8 episodes of a Netflix TV show. So Netflix has faith in Martin Scorsese, and Martin Scorsese doesn't seem to mind working with Netflix. He gets to do what he wants to do because they're giving him free leeway for the problem of only airing exclusively on Netflix. That happens with every other streaming service as well. Frank Welker will be reprising his role in the Scooby-Doo in the live-action Netflix Scooby-Doo show. Hey, Netflix's Stranger Things is huge right now. I talked about the first 4 episodes last week. The next 3 are out on Christmas Day, so we got a little bit of ways to go on that one. It is now officially 18 days till Christmas, so we got 18 days till the next Stranger Things as well. But they're still doing stuff out there. Stranger Things Double from KFC is a new sandwich with 2 KFC original crispy chicken on the outside. On the inside, you have smoky bacon, cheese slices, buns, and special Stranger Things sauce. The fact that they put the buns inside and put the chicken on the outside is phenomenal with the upside down. It's interesting. Eggnog latte is back at Starbucks. Not as popular as a pumpkin spice latte, but still just as good. A Speedy Gonzalez cartoon is in the works, which is going to piss off the MAGA Republicans. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, first trailer for that debuted this week. It's set to come out January 14th. We got our first look at The Beauty, also coming out January on FX, based on a comic book. Emily in Paris Season 5 trailer set to debut on December 18th on Netflix. Saturday Night Live UK is in the works, so the UK is going to be doing their own version of Saturday Night Live. It's about freaking time they did that. It should be pretty interesting, and we'll see if it will become as iconic as the American version has. Because British people have different humor than the United States does. So it should be an interesting juxtaposition to see these two back to back. Here's a name I didn't think I'd ever hear again, but Paris Hilton apparently is trying to make a name for herself again, and she's teaming up with International Creamers, which pisses me off because I like their creamers. But she's making a raspberry champagne coffee creamer, which just sounds awful. She's making a sweet and spicy coffee creamer, which also sounds awful. And they're doing a cotton candy cold foam, which also sounds awful for coffee. All set to debut in January. This is just wild because this is the first of 2 of these. And now it's a trend because there's 2 people doing it. I'll talk about the second one later. But Mug Root Beer is releasing a cologne called Daddy's Home that's supposed to, make you think of root beer, I guess, but it's not necessarily smells like root beer. It's just weird. It's in a dog container, and it's a cologne that has Mug Root Beer on the outside of it. So weird. This actually looks pretty decent. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. We got the first trailer for that, including our first look at Sarah Michelle Gellar, Elijah Wood, Samara Weaving, Catherine Newton, I think. It looks phenomenal. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It looks like it's a continuation from Ready or Not 1, which seemed like it was a one-off that you really didn't need a sequel. And you still might not need a sequel, but it looks like they have a pretty decent storyline set up for it to make it understandable why they're doing this. But you get to see Sarah Michelle Gellar play a gleefully evil person, so that's outstanding. Cherry Float Coke is coming in February, and Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream is coming back soon. I kind of remember Wild Cherry and Cream, but I also kind of don't. But supposedly it came out years ago, and it's coming back with a new design, maybe a new flavor, and then we're getting Cherry Float for Coke. So we're going to get, that looks like cherry ice cream floats are now like the new big thing now. So we're going to get 2 of those in the next couple months. Again, once I see them in stores, I will grab some and I will test them here live on Dylan Knows. Also, Ben & Jerry's has 2 new ice creams. They have Strawberry Donutty, which could be interesting. And they have another churros one. The Churray for Churros is a fantastic one. And I don't see why they need a new one, but they now have Terrifically Churrosy. So it's their next ice cream one. I will have to try that one because I like the Churray for Churros ice cream. And the Strawberry Donutty sounds interesting as well. So once I start seeing them, I'm going to try them as well. Speaking of Netflix again, Stranger Things Season 5 debuted on the day before Thanksgiving. 59.6 million views in the first week alone, first 5 days. Biggest English language in Netflix history. Now, obviously, Squid Game and all that beat it, but that's Korean, so that's all right. Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, also on Netflix, a film which is a time jump from the Peaky Blinders show that was also on Netflix. We'll get our first teaser poster of it with what's his name? Oscar winner Cillian Murphy reprising his role on the poster. It's set to debut on Netflix on March 20th, 2026. We also get our Protector trailer. Mila Jovovich is back doing action films, which takes on human trafficking. Sam Raimi and Jordan Peele are set to collaborate on a new film called Portrait of God. Don't know who's going to direct, or if neither is going to direct, they're just producing it, and they might be writing the script together. Not sure, but that's the two. Two of them together could be really outstanding. And Boston Blue and Sheriff Country have been renewed for new seasons. Again, I don't think there's any anniversary. No, there's some deaths on here and anniversaries. Last Christmas from Wham! Debuted 41 years ago this week. Deaths, Karen Sophia Coroz, a biker influencer, again, influencer that died at the age of 25. Poor Stacy, a rapper, died at the age of 26. And Tammy Rosen ran communications for Tribeca Enterprises and the Sundance Institute, died at the age of 49. And Eldon Campbell, a Hall of Fame NBA player. I don't know if he's Hall of Fame, but he was a really good recent NBA player, passed away this week. I think he died in a boating accident. They said I think he was the one whose body they found in the water. December 13th, which is next Saturday, is going to be a sad day for geeks everywhere. My Hero Academia will release its final anime episode, and John Cena will do his final wrestling performance because he's going to become a full-time actor now, which is good because he's the better of the wrestlers turned actors. Shelter Trailer is a new Jason Statham film. Probably do good. It's coming out on January 30th, so there's no real competition. So should do pretty decent. Should probably win the weekend. Hey, if you like that kind of stuff, why don't you go to the movie theater and see it if you like a movie theater thing as well. I guarantee you're probably not going to, but oh well, whatever. Pop-Tarts flavored coffee from Original Donut Shop is coming out in Keurig only. In Cold Light, Micah Monroe, Tony Kostar, and Helen Hunt in a movie coming out in January. Helldivers film from director Justin Lin is set to be starting to work on that soon based on the video game. Henry Rollins and Tony Hawk, this is kind of cool, team up for Retirement Home for aging punks and skaters. That's kind of a neat idea for them as well. Oh yeah, that's an interesting story. Regé Jean Page is set to headline an erotic thriller series called Hancock Park on Netflix. Gee, more and more people seem to be liking Netflix for some reason. I wonder why. Because they let them do what they want, as long as you just let them do exclusive stuff on Netflix. Obsession trailer set to debut on May 15th. I'm not quite sure what that is. I didn't see the trailer, but to have it come out at the beginning of summer movie season, it's got to be something. Dave Coulier has tongue cancer. Never really heard of tongue cancer, but here we are. Finn Wolfhard and Gabriel LaBelle are set to star in Crashland, a stunt comedy. So that could be interesting. This was kind of crazy. I love me some Anne Hathaway, and you all know that also. She has 4 movies coming out in 2026, and they're all intriguing to me. But I got my first trailer for her first film coming out in the spring of 2026, Mother Mary from A24, and it is a fucking bizarre film. The trailer is weird. It's hard to tell what's going on. The basic premise seems to be that Annie is a pop singer who's hugely popular. She had a falling out with it looks like her friend who was like a costume designer who might have helped write her songs. I'm not sure. And Annie goes to her for one last concert dress, and all the antagonism between them builds up and comes out between them. But then there's like sort of spiritual, supernatural, slightly erotic between the two women feel to it. But it's just it was directed by a guy who did the King Arthur movie, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which was an extremely bizarre film in its own right as well. And this continues that streak as well. It'll probably do, as I said, pretty good critically. I don't know if I'm gonna go see this one in the movie theaters. It doesn't look like my cup of tea. Obviously, you'll see Devil Wears Prada 2. Flowervale Station looks outstanding, or Flowervale, whatever it's called. Looks like a horror sort of thing, which I love to see. And then her one movie she's doing with Josh Hartnett, which is based on a novel, Colleen Hoover novel, coming out in the fall. That could be pretty good too. But this one just looks a little wild, and good for her, expanding stuff. But I don't know if it's for me. Tom King is set to write every episode of the Mr. Miracle show. Tom King wrote the 12-issue miniseries that this show is probably based on, so it makes sense for him to write the screenplays for it as well. I'll talk about that in a second, too, because that's another thing I might go off on for a little bit. Not really. A theater in China allowed the audience to bring their dogs in to a screening of Zootopia 2, which is something that, American people might want to look at. I understand, the dogs having to go to the bathroom and it being loud with the dogs bark and stuff like that. But you have to realize that's what you're going into. And if you want to experience something with your dog that's unique and stuff like that, might be something fun for you to do. And the United States hasn't, I don't think it's ever done anything like that as well. If they have, I'm sorry, I don't know, but it's still kind of interesting. And Zootopia 2 is doing phenomenal in China, which is wild, but okay. Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, and SpongeBob are all set to also collaborate with Fortnite, along with, as I talked about earlier, South Park. So we'll see how that is. The Harry Potter, we kind of already know. It looks like that we're getting the actual Harry Potter skin for our Winterfest, one of our Winterfest gifts that we're going to get starting next week. They're probably like the one we do right around Christmas, the last one, sort of. The Boys Season 5 trailer dropped on Saturday, so fans of that, you can check that out as well. That's on Amazon Prime, though, not Netflix. Thousands of dinosaur footprints and swim tracks were found in South America. A bear walked a parade route during Gatlinburg's holiday parade. So people were lined up along the streets. They were waiting for the parade, or the parade was going on. There was a break, and all of a sudden a real-life bear was walking the parade route, not going after people, just sort of chilling, saying, hey, man, check me out. A jaguar was spotted at Arizona watering holes, the 5th endangered cat seen in the area in the last 15 years. So it makes them believe that there is a jaguar community that is building up very quickly, and it was an endangered species one time, but now for whatever reason, this area is conducive for them to repopulate their species, and that's a good thing. The Simpson movie, which was set to come out in the summer of 2027, has now been pushed to Labor Day weekend, September 3rd, 2027. It actually makes a lot of sense because there's probably going to be no competition. There was going to be competition. I think with Shrek 5 was going to come out the same day that Simpsons movie 2 was originally supposed to. But now moving it to Labor Day weekend when nobody else is probably going to do anything is a brilliant move on their part, and it's probably going to pay off in the long run. Luana Lopez Lara, the Kalshi co-founder, is now the youngest self-made female billionaire at 29. And Landman gets a third season. So here are a couple of other crazy stories I want to talk about. First up, Quentin Tarantino, that is, tears into Paul Dano, Matthew Lillard, and Owen Wilson. Tarantino, you're allowed to have your opinion on stuff, and I don't always agree with a lot of your opinions, but tearing into 3 actors for no other reasons than that you don't really like them is just kind of stupid. It's particularly Paul Dano, because this all came about because he did his top 20 movies of the 2000s, something like that, and There Will Be Blood was number 1, and when he was talking about it, he said that, Paul Dano, who played opposite of, I forget the guy's name, I think he won an Oscar, was nominated for an Oscar for it. He played Lincoln. He was in Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis had a hell of a performance, but Paul Dano was useless in that. Doesn't make sense. And then he goes after Owen Wilson and also Matthew Lillard. It makes no sense why he's going after these people. It's just Tarantino is kind of an asshole. And one of the best comments ever was that there was an actress who was dating, I think, Paul Thomas Anderson at one time. And Quentin Tarantino came over and they were watching movies and she had to leave because they were being so film cinephile assholes, when they were talking back and forth about stuff. And she thought it was boring and stupid. So follow me on this story. A man got an X-ray in Kenya at the Kenya government hospital. I guess they have no universal health care, unlike our stupid country. So he went to get an X-ray because I guess he wasn't feeling good, or was it? They didn't really say. Either wasn't feeling good, or it was just a checkup, and they wanted to get an X-ray. So the person who took the X-ray said, "Oh my God, what the hell is that? Oh shit, you're in a lot of trouble. You need to get to Singapore right now because according to this X-ray, you have a cockroach in your lung." And they had the X-ray come out, and sure enough, there's a massive cockroach in the guy's lung. It's like, how the fuck did that get there? So you're thinking it's Kenya, anything's possible. So the guy takes a flight out to Singapore, freaking out because he doesn't know how the hell it got in there. Is it eating his lungs? Is that he's not having trouble breathing, but it's just weird to have something living, in your lungs. It was just, so he got to Singapore and he was like, this is what happened. He's doing. It's like, okay, we'll get an X-ray and we'll see what we're looking at. They took an X-ray. It was completely clean. And they're like, what the fuck? And then they learned that the Kenyan government X-ray machine had a cockroach in it, not the guy who was getting the X-ray. So he was in the machine. So when it took the picture, his reflection or shadow or whatever appeared perfectly in the guy's lungs, even though it was in the machine itself. Should have been my last story of the week, but I still have a page and a half of notes. So that was crazy. Anniversaries, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the TV series, which they had aired, I think, yesterday, debuted 61 years ago this week. Adaptation with Nicolas Cage and Meryl Streep debuted 23 years ago this week. Excuse me. Deaths: Levi Stanley, an NFL player from Hawaii, passed away. And Grace Smith, Kevin Smith's mother, passed away this week as well. Thoughts and prayers to you, Kevin. It's hard losing your mom. I haven't yet. I'm lucky. But good on you, and I hope your family's doing okay. The original theatrical cut of Star Wars, not the special edition version, not any of these other crappy, stupid versions. The original theatrical cut will be re-released in movie theaters in 2027 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. That's all Star Wars fans have been asking for, and you're finally going to get it. Congratulations. But remember, 2001 was a huge year, so we're entering 2026, which makes it anything that came out in 2001 is beginning its 25th anniversary. Harry Potter, unfortunately 9/11, and I will be doing a list, probably the top 25 stuff from 2001 sometime next year. And the first and the biggest one, which the story is about, is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring debuted in 2001 as well. So 25th anniversary of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, the first part of the trilogy. They came out in each 2002, 2003. And I think Spider-Man came out in 2001 also with Tobey Maguire. Regardless, they are re-releasing the extended edition Lord of the Rings movies into movie theaters starting in January. So that's kind of cool. It'll only be probably for a week or a weekend. So you better go out there and get that theatrical experience because the movie theaters are dying. They need to show movies for longer than 1 week. Webcam shows a mountaineer allegedly leaving his dumped girlfriend to freeze to death on Austria's highest peak. That just sounds like a shit thing to do. As we talked about, we had the mug root beer cologne. We now have a croissant cologne is in the works as well. Baltimore County, that's my county I live in now, a fire employee has allegedly was spotted masturbating in public spaces and in many firehouses. So that's just weird. Super Troopers 3 hits August 7th, 2026. Speaking of movies re-releasing movie theaters, Avengers Endgame is set to be re-released on September 25th, 2026 in movie theaters. Hopefully, maybe, James Cameron can't complain because he released the Avatar movies so many times that it pushed his movies past Endgame. Maybe this movie will push Endgame past the Avatar movies and get it to be the top movie again. It's a way to get people, back into speed into the Avengers era, as well as Doomsday is going to pop up in about 3 months after this. Literally 3 months to the date. 5-year-old Florida boy, not Florida man, Florida boy, woke up before his parents and decided, I'm kind of hungry. Walked to the local Chick-fil-A and got some food. The people at the Chick-fil-A, they allowed him to eat it without paying for it. And I guess they were able to contact the parents, and the parents came and got him. Child was caught begging on the street for his sick aunt, and he held up a picture of his sick aunt. And his sick aunt apparently is Lady Gaga, who is not sick. Here's another award thing that I didn't really get much into because this is the only thing that's interesting to me. K-pop Demon Hunters has won the Music Visionary of the Year at the Mama Music Awards. Adam Scott is leaving Severance just to make this movie. He's coming back for the third season. We're going to start filming next year. For a new horror movie called Hokum about a witch, the ghost of a witch, maybe. It sounds like an intriguing idea. It's about a guy who wants to spread his father's ashes in this haunted woods, where he discovers there's a legend about a witch haunting the woods as well. Could be interesting. It's called Hokum. Japan is also releasing their own version of K-pop Demon Hunters in an anime, so they're going to get their own version of that as well. Latvia says they're running out of men. So all the single ladies are would like to have more men come to Latvia, and so they can start dating them. Okay. Illumination is set to release a Donkey Kong Country animated film on December 22nd, 2028. I'll be there for that because I love me some Donkey Kong. And this should have been the top story, but I figured I'd wait until now, and I didn't put it in my header because I forgot about it. But this is a big deal. 7 days before my birthday next year, on June 13th, 2026, it's a Saturday, Taylor Swift will be marrying Travis Kelce in Rhode Island. So congratulations to the happy couple. The wedding date is set, so that's all we're going to be talking about now from now till June, which is fine. I have no issue with that. I think that's awesome. I'm glad she got a 13 in there because I know how the number 13 is for her, and it was on a Saturday. She'll be up in Rhode Island, and it's a week before my birthday, so that's awesome. So congratulations to you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day, and Rhode Island is wonderful, as you know, because you live up there periodically, so fantastic. So June 13th, 2026, put it on your calendar. It's going to be the biggest wedding in a long time. Anniversaries. Beverly Hills Cop, believe it or not, came out in December, 41 years ago this week. I always thought it was a summer movie, but nope, it wasn't. Good Will Hunting debuted 28 years ago this week. The Peter Jackson directed King Kong debuted 20 years ago this week. I saw that in the movie theater with my wife. It's okay, but not one of my favorites. The cult classic Flash Gordon debuted 45 years ago this week. And The Last Samurai, considered an underrated Tom Cruise movie, debuted 22 years ago this week. Deaths this week. High-powered architect who built buildings for Disney and Warner Brothers, Frank Gehry, passed away at the age of 96. Roy Kramer, commissioner of the SEC at one time, died at the age of 96 this week as well. Michael Anetti, a NASCAR driver, passed away at the age of 39 this week. And that's that. And we're on the last page. And this is the last page, finally, that I'm going to use for this notebook. This is it. I have to buy a new notebook this weekend. So next week, I had time, so I worked on the paper again. So we'll see if I have the time again next week. If not, it will start with a new book here. A 7.0 Alaska earthquake. That was the story I did right at the beginning of the show when I had to check my phone one last time for any top stories. Hit. Warner Brothers is selling 10 fully functional Batmobiles for $3 million each. So Netflix is now going to own all that shit. Does that piss you guys off? The first trailer for GOAT, an animated film set to debut February 13th, 2026, about Steph Curry. Well, it's kind of about Steph Curry. It's about basketball, and Steph Curry is involved with it, and he's like the voice of the GOAT. KJ Smith and Olwen Apoletta are set to star in Rot, a female-led psychological thriller. We got our first look at Runaway, which is a new Harlan Cobain thing, I think, on Netflix. Got a lot of crazy stories here. Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf are set to star in a revival of Death of a Salesman. That could be really, really good. Good God, all these are crazy stories. God of War live action series has set a Shogun and Boys director as one of its directors. A Ferris Bueller Day Off spinoff has been canceled by Paramount. You should hate on Paramount. Disney and Hulu are trying to break a world record for the world's largest gingerbread house, and they are building almost a full-scale version of the McAllister's house from Home Alone. Now, I got a whole bunch of crazy stories here to end this, so let's do anniversaries. Let's run all these as my last ones. Do the Bartman debuted 35 years ago this week. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, a hugely underrated Star Trek movie, debuted 34 years ago this week. Spies Like Us, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, debuted 40 years ago this week. Misery debuted 35 years ago this week. Scrooge, the Alistair Sim version, debuted 74 years ago this week. Christmas Vacation debuted 36 years ago this week. That's it for anniversaries. That's it for deaths. And now we got the final crazy story. So where should we start? First up, man actually broke into an apartment, unwrapped all the Christmas presents, and refused to leave when the tenant came and asked him to get the fuck out. A Texan, so it's not a Florida person, a Texan dies after getting stuck in a clothing donation bin. Were you trying to dumpster dive and got caught in there? RGB lit implants for breast implants are a new thing that light up. I think I talked about that before. They will light up and be various colors, and you can use them for the club and stuff like that. That's going to be the last story. A man sued Red Bull for not giving him wings, and he won $13 million. What the fuck is that about? Cyberbutt offers empathy and technique training for rectal exams. It's an actual sort of butt that people who are learning that stuff can attach to their computer and use it as a YouTube video shows what they need to do. And they have a way to work on it. 3 Florida people, 2 men and a woman, were arrested in the Florida Keys for having sex while intoxicated in a Winn-Dixie parking lot. And finally, the last story of the week is 81-year-old woman wins best technique at a San Francisco lesbian pie eating contest. It's exactly what you think it is. And that is where we're going to end this. So that's the end of the first week of December. Next weekend is my daughter's birthday. Might be her last exam, so she might be home for Christmas break. And that's about all. But again, I have to take a poo. So I'm going to end the stream now. And thank you for watching. Actually, it's right on time. Bye.